A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch-Up Entertainment Network. I am your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the Dark Lord Flint to my rebel recruit Barney, it's John Campbell.
Hello, everybody. That's right, folks. Finally, the answers you've long waited for what happened to those guys.
Yeah, everyone clearly remembers the events of Star Wars Annual number 3, right? If not, go back into our feed and go to our all-annual super special number 100 episode, and in the back chunk of that episode, we talk about Star Wars Annual number 3.
Or if you're like me, who was in that episode, I went, oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Or if you're like me, who was in that episode, but also does enough podcasting to where I immediately forget the last thing I've recorded as soon as I'm done recording it. I had to look up this character on Wikipedia when he first showed up in this issue and go, oh yeah, that guy.
This is indicative of so much of this comic, right? Like, there are interesting ideas here, but boy, the execution is so weird. And also the attitude of, like, right? And it's like, no, not if you didn't buy that annual and distinctly remember it, good luck.
Yeah, well, look, we're talking about Star Wars number 92 of the original Marvel Star Wars run. This issue was released in February of 1985. Full, let's see, that annual was released in November of 84. So, honestly, like, we're a few months away from it. I'm sure they were probably written back to back, honestly.
I mean, if this had been the next issue, yeah. Also, weirdly, the other thing we were just talking about before we got on here, this is also weirdly the length of what should be the fourth annual, but isn't the fourth annual, even though it's annual size because it's a double issue. I don't know why.
Let's finish off the credits here. I will tell you why. Yeah. So we've got our writer, we've got Joe Duffy, we've got Yan, not 100% sure, Drusema on pencils. We've got Tom Mandrake on inks, Rick Parker on letters. We've got our editors, Ann Nesenti, and a shooter in the distance still running the show. So let me tell you why this is a double-sized issue, John.
Okay.
Because you know how usually you hit those like benchmark issues of like 100 or 25 or 50, and those are like sometimes your double-sized issues.
I had to look. I go, is this the 100th? No.
Nope. Issue number 92. That's the reason.
What, that it's issue number 92?
I found zero other evidence to suggest that this is a double-length issue for any other reason other than the fact that it is issue number 92.
Which is not normally a number to celebrate for any reason. Okay. Amazing.
But we do get a kick-ass Bill Sienkiewicz cover.
The cover's the best thing in this by far. The cover rules.
Yeah, love the cover.
If you're a Sienkiewicz fan, he's doing his thing, and you've got Luke Skywalker all in black with his green lightsaber. Remember that, because the cover gets it right and the comic doesn't. And he's staring up at the stars, which contained in those stars is a ghostly image of Darth Vader, and it's cool, and I would absolutely frame a print of this and put it on my wall. It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This is very much like some Demon Bear cover vibes here with the looming Vader whose body just like bleeds into the star field. It's very cool.
It's so much better than this issue deserves. Like, I'm just saying, like, for what this promises, and actually what the beginning of the issue kind of feels like, you're like, ooh, we're really going to get into like the thorny nature of what's Luke's relationship with his father. And that's in here, but mostly through other characters that are not main Star Wars characters.
Right. Let's have an issue that is mostly a weird retread of those thorny issues through new characters who will be never mentioned ever again.
Yeah, and have only been mentioned. Have only had one thing once before in that annual, but we're gonna act like you all right?
Yeah,
Continuing this beloved plot. It's just very, very weird. Also, there's a conversation between Luke and Leia in this that I literally did have to, and we'll get to it, when I was like, did we read this issue? Because they had this exact same conversation, I think, in the last issue, or maybe the one before it. I don't remember. But the conversation they have about Vader is exactly the same as the previous conversation they had about Vader.
But what if this was your first issue of a Star Wars comic, John? You got to See, this is the thing. This issue is trying to have its cake and eat it too, in terms of like, this could be anyone's first issue, so we got to reintroduce some concepts. But also, if you haven't read a specific annual, you're gonna be lost.
It's really weird. Yeah, because the famous Stan Lee quote about every comic is somebody's first comic, and you're like, sure. But like you're saying, but then also it's like, but I hope you read annual number 3.
Right. It's the fact that annual number 3 is only really referenced by a single editor's note is kind of wild.
Because it really requires, like, you really need to remember the whole arc of both characters
for the end of this issue to make any sense at all. Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, you're just like, what? Who the hell are these guys? And why are they talking?
Right. So yeah, let's get into issue number 92. Again, not a special declarative number. It's just,
I opened this up and it's still going.
What I should have double checked, and now I'm kicking myself for not, is how many issues of Marvel Star Wars has Joe Duffy written as of this issue?
That maybe
that's why this issue is relevant, though. Why editorial would agree to make it double sized for that being
I understand why that might be a big deal to her, but I don't know why it would be a big deal to the I mean, it's amazing that there's no information about it. Nope. Like on Wikipedia. Zero. And stuff like that.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, believe me, John, I tried. I looked.
It's so wild to me that there's beyond just mentioning that it's a 41-page issue. There's nothing. It's incredible to me.
All right, we got a lot of pages to get through. Let's start.
Yeah. Well, Luke's in the Speed Force.
Luke's in the Speed Force here with his single driver's glove on, and we're in an issue declared to be the Dream.
They've been vacillating between black with some white. Now he's all white with some beige kind of padding.
He's a Speed Racer side character.
There's a lot of Speed Racer-y kind of imagery in this, by the way. I think when we get to the prince showing up, I was like, oh, Speed can never know that I'm really his brother Rex.
Jan Duursema here is like really, really typifying some like house style in this issue.
Big time. This is not bad, but it's very uninteresting to me.
Yeah. It's one of those art styles where you could just as easily see like this being the art style for an issue of Iron Man in the same time period, all the way up until like 1995.
Yeah, it really is just like he is just doing fine. This is fine work that looks like anything else. Nothing stood out to me in this at all. Anyway, so he's inside of this swirling, blue and purple and pink, streaks behind him, and he says, "It can't be the deadliest enemy I ever faced."
Racer X.
The dialogue has that, like, was this in Japanese and we're jamming English into it? The deadliest enemy I ever faced, Darth Vader. Yeah.
Chim Chim.
But why are you here? Why now? I've got to. No, my lightsaber isn't working. It can't protect me, not against him. I mean, it's just like ba-da-ba-da-da.
Why are some of these words out loud and some of them thought bubbles?
Because it's all a dream, so what does it fucking matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was my,
I don't know. Because anyway.
That's not the first time we brought up that question on this show.
That's true. And Luke is a long culprit of speaking and thinking too much in this comic.
Absolutely. And so, all right, so it's Darth Vader and his lightsaber doesn't work. And he says, well, what are you going to do? And Darth Vader goes, let me take this helmet off. And then he's like, don't do that.
You can't take the mask off. You mustn't. And then it was a dream. So Luke wakes up shouting, don't.
And and actually more terrifying than that is waking up to 3PO over you, right?
Yeah, always.
Oh, Jesus.
I think more terrifying than anything is in the background of the panel here where Luke is waking up. There is some kind of like weird, grotesque Ewok mask hanging on the wall.
Well, because remember, folks, they're living in the Ewok village at this point.
Yeah, presumably there's been a boom in the Ewok housing development circuit to accommodate all these rebels.
Well, clearly Luke is sleeping on some Ewok's couch, right? Like the way
well, that's the thing, right? It's a human, but it's a human-sized bed.
Makes no sense.
Well, unless again the housing development of Endor has like just really had an upshot in the market here.
Well, as brought up by one of our keen-eyed viewers who commented on one of our previous issues, why are all the handrails at human level in the tree village?
It haunts me.
That is one of those things I just took for granted, but when he pointed that out, I went, oh my God. Yeah, that makes no sense. And then here we go, even more so. Here's a human-sized cot, I guess, would be the generous description.
I guess, okay, no prize, I guess, maybe. This is a king-sized Ewok bed.
This Ewok likes his space.
Yeah, this is a tip-to-toe, you could fit 3 Ewoks on this thing, but it's good enough for one human-sized person.
Yes, that's the... But also, we've talked about, they're just, they're just quartering in their homes. Okay. Yeah. Once again, this comic assumes something I never have, which is that they would just perpetually stay on Endor after the events of Jedi. I never thought that was what the rebels did.
Look, the Ewok Constitution has yet to be written, and they got to work on a bill that says, hey, no soldiery quartering in our homes.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Ewok Constitution, that issue that gets into that. Is that going to be an Ewok comic that we get to?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So anyway, Luke explains he was having a nightmare. Once again, there's a couple lines we'll have to just ignore to not talk about droid stuff, but he's about like, yeah, I had a terrible dream. It was really bad. And 3PO just goes, really? Sometimes I'm quite glad I'm a droid.
So that I don't have to dream.
Mm-hmm. And then I love 3PO because Luke's like, 3PO, what are you doing in here? And he's just like, oh, right, I almost forgot. Admiral Akbar needs you to come to a meeting.
I was so busy watching you sleep that I almost forgot.
Transfixed. Look at him. And by the way, the third panel in the middle here, that's Harrison Ford's face with Luke's hair.
Oh yeah, 100%. Look, we wouldn't be a Star Wars comic from the 80s if we didn't get a little bit of weird face going on.
Yeah, but I'm just like, he just drew Han and then went, oh shit, I'll just put the hair on it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So we cut to a meeting with Admiral Akbar with Spock here in the front row down in the bottom left of this panel.
It's not, nice to see some cross-franchise cameos. I find this entire rebellion highly illogical.
But Admiral Akbar is basically giving us a recap of everything that's been happening up till now, keeping it brief. Yeah, like we defeated the Empire, but turns out they're still out there, and that is bad.
Yeah. Well, and he specifically Han will bring up the Wookiee homeworld. I guess that was the Empire, but it seemed to be specifically one just douchebag that started up the slave, thing on.
We can assume that all douchebags somehow are associated with the Empire.
Just the thing that was so weird about that was it really did, and we talked about this in the last, it really did just seem like one guy somehow was like, no, you're still enslaved. And they went, put those knives away, man. Sure.
Yeah, it was one guy, all of his knives, and a bunch of bad Wookiees.
Yeah. Floor recognizes the representative from Vulcan on, anyway.
Well, he is Ambassador Spock at a certain point.
True. That's true. By the time you get to Next Gen, he is an ambassador. I will say there's a coloring error in this top panel. They colored in all of Leia's, what should have been her black shirt as skin, which makes this a very inappropriate outfit for a formal meeting.
What if Leia was just like dipping that full V-neck down to the navel?
Yeah. What?
It's so hot here on Endor.
Yeah. So anyway, and Han's like, yeah, they're enslaving the Wookiees, and Leia's like, and I found slavery somewhere else, and Akbar's like, you see what the problem is? You see what I'm dealing with here.
So we gotta just keep an eye out for all this stuff. Please let us know if you see anything. Also, Luke, how's the training of the new kids going? Because apparently Luke's in charge of training the new recruits.
Yeah, that's sure.
That's a development.
Yeah, I mean, Luke never went to any kind of academy or anything like that, so sure,
But he's a Jedi.
But he's expressly not training them in the ways of the Jedi, so I don't know why this isn't like a Wedge Antilles. Anyway,
but that's like okay, the Olympic level fencer is coaching football, and like he's still a grade A athlete, but is he teaching those football players like how to poke people with a rapier? No. But will he teach them like good levels of athleticism and like good ways of like keeping
we'll
their
get to it
body
later when
training?
Luke is training that when we get to the training montage drawing we'll talk about and Luke learned martial arts when but
on the savage streets of Mos Espa with those damn Vespa hooligans.
The Tatooine. Oh yeah, though you got to watch out for those kids and their candy colored speeders. But anyway, Luke is distracted because he's like, "Huh?"
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, they're doing okay." And Leia knows something up with Luke.
Right, because when Akbar dismisses the meeting, she tries to catch back up with him, going like, "What's wrong, my dude?"
I got to talk about what's going on in the foreground here. Is that Danny and some weird like werewolfy guy?
Yeah, it's Danny and the Wolfman. You ever heard that band? Or no, sorry, they're not a band. They're a early talk radio in the morning AM.
Come on, we got to get to the studio.
Danny and the Wolfman on the AM.
Oh! Yeah, they got to. Anyway, they got to get there because they're on air in 5 minutes. Yeah. Hey, all you rebels out there. But yeah, so Leia's like, "Come on, Luke, we need to talk and have a conversation we had in the last issue."
Yeah, and then they do, because Luke's weirded out about these recurring nightmares he has about Darth Vader. And Leia's like, "Our father, Darth Vader, the Dark Lord, who everyone hates?"
This is some bad writing. They're about our father. Darth Vader? No.
The other one.
Yeah. And then and it's just this whole thing about he talks about he explains what we just saw about
right.
He tries to take off the mask.
We also learn that this is a recurring dream, so this is not the first time he's had it.
Right. He keeps having this dream about Vader, and they then say they're not telling anyone that they're siblings, because then that will inevitably lead to questions about who their parents are, which will inevitably lead people to know it's Darth Vader, which is
suspect at best. Again, like, we really, at this point in the Star Wars canon, have not established who Padme is. We have not established, like, the fame of General Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars.
Right,
or the fact that basically nobody knows that Anakin became Darth Vader.
So we're just keeping it very vague.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I get that, because they're like, we really don't have answers here.
Right. And so Luke is like, "I don't know what's happening with these dreams, but they mean something bad. I'm afraid of him in my dreams." And the dream keeps going a little bit farther every time, but I've never quite gotten to like what is it these dreams are trying to reveal to me.
Yeah. And Leia has processed this so quickly. If you think about the information she's had about not only learning Luke's her brother, but Vader's their father. And she immediately is like, "Hey, I know he was the Dark Lord and he killed a bunch of people, but like, remember when he, right at the end of his life, turned things around?" This has always been the issue, and I'm not the only one. It's not even an issue, but just the idea that, like, yes, good that Vader did that. Not sure it cancels out the decades of genocide.
I think in this moment, she's more trying to console Luke and get him out of his rut than actually, like, say, "And we should tell everyone that Vader's our dad."
Well, because she's just like, you don't need to be ashamed of him, because remember the one good thing he did?
Yeah, but Luke is just mopey, and then we cut to a training montage.
Yeah. You're the best around.
And we
Yeah.
have... I love the, like, Karate Kid superimposed over Luke's face, the image of him high-kicking with Kiro, him showing Barney how to use a blaster. Remember Barney, kids? That one guy from Star Wars Annual number 3? If not, don't worry, this issue won't address it.
I love Barney shooting the blaster and Luke just going, that's how you shoot.
And then I guess Danny and Cheeto and Rick Duel are also here.
Yeah, it really is just like, who are the characters we know? I guess that's who he's training. And also Dragon Man. Not also, that Dragon Man, though.
His name is Dracos, and he is a very sexy Dragon Man.
Oh, yes. This was an early Antonio Banderas part.
I mean, he has got no shirt on. He has got, like, a Speedo and nothing else.
Hey, Dracos works hard on his body, and he wants everyone to know.
Also,
drink it in.
Calling the Dragon Man Dracos, come on.
Yeah, really, it's pretty... They're not working super hard on this comic. Yeah. I will say, it really does feel like they're like, I don't know at this point. Like, they really are just like, we're out of movies. We don't really know what's going to become of this film franchise, if anything. So... like, we're going to kind of plow forward, but everything in this feels still kind of like hesitantly plowing forward. Like, let's
Dracos never reappears outside of these two panels? Damn.
God damn it. Where's a Draco spin-off comic when you need it? Yes, finally, in my own book.
But Dracos does bring up the point here of just like, look, Luke, you've been teaching us all this great stuff, how to be like fighters and shooters and runners, but when are you going to teach us the good stuff?
Yeah, when are you going to teach us the magic that you use? I mean, fair. Don't you know magic?
To everyone else outside of the Jedi, that's what the Force is.
Yeah, I mean, when they come in every day for their training, do you think they're all sitting around going like, do you think today's the day he's going to show us how to move stuff with our minds?
I mean, I would.
Yeah, I mean, just like, oh, maybe today he's going to show, maybe that's the thing. And it's like...
You don't think that's the only reason Rick Duel is showing up to this shit?
Yeah, man, I think I can push somebody with the Force or something. It'll make stealing so much easier.
How much of a monster would Rick Duel become if he could Jedi mind trick people?
Oh my God, he'd be unstoppable. He'd be unstoppable. Yeah, it's very weird.
But Luke, again, kind of in his mopey ways, is just saying, I can't train you all. Like, not in that way. I can teach you other stuff. I can teach you how to be good fighters, but I cannot teach you how to use the Force.
I'm sorry.
Barney is just like, why not? And Luke's like, because it's freaking dangerous, my dude.
Yeah. Also, and he'll say this later, and he actually, I'm glad he brings up something I had said in a previous issue where they were saying, are you going to teach people? Was just like, I barely know it, really. Like, at the end of the day, I'm still pretty new to it. Yeah. He's only been at it for a couple years. Also, this is, and I know the prequels don't come out stuff like, but like, no one has shown any Force aptitude that we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit with Kiro, right? Where it's like it's sort of implied that maybe he was...
that was before, and that's fine. But Rick Duel doesn't have any fucking Force activity. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, clearly the one of that trio we got to watch out for is Cheeto, because he survived a gunshot to the chest and walked away.
By the way, just kind of accept that happened. They never actually expressed that he was okay in that issue.
Nope, but he's fine. He's here.
Yeah, now he's back, and it's like, weren't you shot in the chest last week? And he said, don't worry about it.
Force healing's a hell of a drug.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh, God, Force healing. And so he can't, and they're all pissed off, and Luke's gonna mope about it.
But then we cut to, what's this? We're back in the dream again.
Yeah, who's out there? You again.
And we slowly zoom in on Darth Vader. He's about to pull off his helmet, and nope, can't do it. We wake up again.
I kept wondering. I'm like, what's it going to be with the helmet? Because obviously Empire already did the helmet opens and it's Luke in it. So I don't know where this is going. And this is just, what is your take on this?
I'm weirded out by the fact that he's literally grabbing the helmet from the top and lifting the whole thing off his head like a bucket.
Yeah, which is not how his helmet works, of course.
Right. We've seen how his helmet works in both Empire and Return of the Jedi, how the top bit is a separate piece from the mask.
It's two. And I mean, we actively watch Luke have to pull it off in Jedi, and it's a two-step process.
Seeing him just grab the top of it and then pull it up from the neck and it just lifting up past his chin just weirds me out.
Stopped by a Party City and bought a Vader costume. I don't, it's like
but I mean, no, we know what's happening here. We see it later in the issue of what's happening in the dream. Luke is interpreting, this is a Force vision is what's happening here.
Yes.
And he's interpreting it in a way that his mind can identify and understand, but it's not what's actually happening.
Correct. So anyway, he wakes up to the Aru of the general alarm.
Aru.
The base is under attack.
Who set up the alarms in the Ewok village? The Ewoks?
Hey, I just like the idea of the guy, like the maintenance guy being like, hey, don't mind us. We're just going to string these alarms on the way through here. Hey, go about your Ewok business. Don't worry about it.
I mean, they've clearly set up some modifications because we cut to a gun embankment where Han and the others are.
Yeah, which I will love when Han's just like, get off of that gun. I can do better than you.
Because there's an incoming ship. It's coming low, it's coming fast, and it's not responding to hails.
Mm-hmm.
It's evaded all attempts at interception, and an X-Wing gets sent up after it, and that X-Wing gets evaded and then shot down.
Yeah. And Han says that was our last X-Wing?
Or at least the one that was in the air.
Yeah. This guy is so good, you'd almost think he was me. That's a very on-character Han Solo line.
Yeah.
But then he goes, let me at the controls of this energy cannon. I'll deal with this son of a bitch.
But then Luke, reaching out with his feelings, says, hold on, I sense something. Something I haven't felt, ever.
Yeah, and, Han says, okay, but we're going to trust the Force on this one, but you better be right.
Yeah.
And so everybody runs over.
Everybody runs over and...
Out, I mean, I was like, oh, Speed Racer. Like the little red scarf and stuff.
The scarf and the full jumpsuit with the padded bits at the thighs and the vest. It's very Speed Racer. It's
just a long-haired Speed Racer. Go Speed Racer! And he's
saying, when this person walked out, my first thought was just oh, this is goth Luke.
I did have a thought at one point. Oh no, alternate reality Luke.
We haven't quite gotten that silly yet.
Maybe where it was good. No, but it felt like that because yes, especially when you get into the close-ups and the way it's drawn, I'm like, oh God, is this going to be Luke from the Dark Universe or whatever? No, the answer is simpler and sillier, and it doesn't land for me at least. I don't know, but Chewie doesn't like because Chewie goes.
But this person comes charging out and immediately says, "Who's in charge here?" and starts making demands of people.
Yeah. By the way, also shout out to one of our other YouTube commenters. We've been bringing up the fact that Han is wearing a yellow shirt, and shout out to the person who said it's just the same shirt unwashed.
Ew! Oh my God!
I enjoyed that theory.
Oh no!
The laundry service on Endor is not great. Okay.
Yuck! That's so nasty.
Han, you're gonna have to stand further downwind. I just can't.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. I just caught that here and I remember that comment, which I enjoyed. Keep with the comments, folks. We do read them, whether we acknowledge them or not. But anyway, yeah. And so, all right. So
this is Denon of Naldar.
Get a fucking Tolkien character is Denon of Naldar.
Well, he's the last of the line of steward kings who sits upon the throne of Naldar.
I mean, that's what it says. And basically, it's just He is just like, look, hey, you guys may have defeated the Empire where you are, but it's real bad where I live. Get all your troops together. I'm going to need like a whole army of people. And they're like, whoa, buddy. Whoa.
Also, I heard you had a Jedi. I need him to train me because I can use the Force.
This guy comes in hot.
Real hot.
Yeah. And Leia is like, whoa. What are you talking about?
You are very full of demands for someone who's come here as a beggar in a ship that's full of holes, like that story you're telling.
Oh, I do like the arm from Han around her being like, honey, just, calm down.
Han is holding Leia back from tearing this person's throat out.
I do like that he's like, obviously, you're new here. Let me tell you, she's also royalty. So, this attitude's not going to fly, buddy.
Han's line here. Your Royal Highness Prince Denon of the conquered planet of Naldar, permit me to present Her Royal Highness Princess Leia Organa of the destroyed planet Alderaan.
Yeah, your sob story, buddy, is going to fall on some deaf ears here. Then of course he's going, I'm Han Solo, the Wookiee's Chewbacca, the guy with the mustache is Lando Calrissian, the black kid is Barney.
Yeah, it was the 80s. We started using the word black.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not. It's not even the. Well, it is number one. I don't think I've ever heard anyone referred to as black in Star Wars. Not that you wouldn't, because there are black people. I believe
that Barney was referred to that way in the annual number 3.
But I will say, Lando is also black, though, which is what's weird about. But Lando's the guy with the mustache, but Barney's the black kid.
Yeah.
It's weird. It read very strange to me. And the blonde kid is Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy's like, Skywalker, that's the name. You're the Jedi.
You've got to train me right now.
Number one, everyone does. I mean, I will say, whether or not Luke is willing to train people, everyone does sort of take this attitude of, you have to train me, which is pretty shitty.
Also, like, okay, what if he agreed? We're talking like months, if not years. Yeah. Luke is a prodigy. He was able to get this stuff down pretty quick, but anyone else.
This guy's like, do you do some sort of weekend seminar or something? I don't, like
a pamphlet I could read.
He's like, I need force powers right now because I got to get back to my world and stop the Empire.
Right.
You're like, whoa, yeah, man. You understand? This is like a whole religion and like, way of life. It's not. You don't just go like, shoot me up with them force powers.
Yeah, that's like walking into a Buddhist temple and being like, hey, can I get some of that enlightenment you got?
Yeah, come on. Chop. I don't know. Hey,
let's go.
It's not a great attitude, folks.
No.
Whether he's willing to or not, in general, he's certainly not going to respond to that.
Right. So, and that's what basically everyone tells Denon here. It's just like, slow your roll, kid.
Jesus, man. Calm down. Yeah. I got time to be calm.
We'll hear you out. We'll talk to Admiral Akbar. We'll see what's up. But come on, kid. You're not going anywhere all right now.
Yeah. And then, I mean, he the finger pointing, like, hey, you listen to me, you everybody here. I'm not going to do this here. It's just like, my God, I'm warning you. What makes
it worse is we immediately cut to
until you have to teach me something, which is a weird threat.
Well, look, if you're that annoying, it is a threat.
Yeah. I'm not leaving until you tell me what you know, and teach me your secrets.
We immediately cut to them going like, so, Admiral Akbar didn't go for it, huh?
I do like we don't even see it.
Yeah.
What did you do? I don't have time for this bullshit.
I don't know who this moody goth is, but tell him to get the hell off my moon.
Yeah. My God, man, I'm trying to shut down a slavery ring here. I don't have time for this. Because the reason they say too here is that he's basically too far away. There's a weird line about like, look, we've controlled, we've stopped the Empire's spread in this section of the galaxy. if we start going there, that's like starting a whole new conflict, basically, I think seems to be the concern. Oh, let's get the Atlas out. Here we go.
Let's get the Atlas out. For our YouTube listeners, I've walked 2 feet to a bookshelf and grabbed the Star Wars Essential Atlas.
Honestly, we probably should have that at the ready for most episodes.
I'm gonna pull up the big galaxy map here, and I have a good idea of where Endor is in the Outer Rim, which tells you exactly the sort of like nerd I am, that I know basically where certain planets are in the galaxy map.
It's not even where things are as much as I didn't know that the Rebels had like a cutoff where it's like, I'm sorry, that's not our problem.
Well, that is kind of a thing in Star Wars. Like, there are sectors of space that are just like, okay, that's really outside of our jurisdiction. Hut space is a lot like that. You get into that a little bit in the prequels in Phantom Menace, where it's like the Outer Rim is sort of like a no man's land a little bit because the Republic doesn't go out there.
For sure, but this is the first time we've seen somebody go like, you've got to come help us, and it's like, look, we only have so many resources, and that's pretty far away. So, sorry.
Yes, 7. Fun fact, Naldar is in this thing.
Oh, wow.
Look, that tells you kind of, okay. Naldar is pretty out of the way, not gonna lie. Ooh, it's right next to the wheel, though. I love that the wheel is in here.
Oh, wow. Okay, we know that. We know the wheel.
I love it.
Yeah, all right. I'm looking up here I've got Naldar up on the old Wikipedia here. Yes, it's an Outer Rim world in the Felim system. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's in much beyond what we're looking at here.
No, it's really not. But I will say, compared to where like Endor is, which is kind of like, okay, sort of the like, if you're looking at the galaxy and you use the like up is north and down is south, Endor is sort of in the southwestern quadrant of the galaxy, kind of at the edge of the unknown regions and towards wild space. And it's right between the Outer Rim and the Mid Rim. And Naldar is like all the way on the opposite side of the galaxy.
I mean, I can't blame Akbar too much, where it's like, dude, we just barely eked out a victory here, and we have the resources we have, and you're asking us to come, because he just comes in and demands like, I need as many ships and people as you've got.
Right. So like, he's understandably frustrated, but our heroes are gathering back up with Barney here, and we get a brief recap of what happened in Star Wars Annual number 3.
The most important character in Star Wars, Barney.
Well, because he's sort of understanding, because he's like, I'm just a first-year cadet, and I know my problems aren't that big compared to everything, but for everyone on his planet to get wrecked, I understand what he's going through, because the same thing happened to me, sort of.
Diddle-a-doo, flashback.
Right. Yeah, because let us not forget that Barney's from the planet Belderone, and there him and his friend Flint were roped into the adventures of Luke Skywalker and co. when they showed up on their planet to confront the Empire's operation there, and it cost them all their homes. Barney ended up joining the rebellion, but Flint ended up joining up with the Empire for some sense of control.
And what has become of Flint is going to get so wild, folks, so strap in.
Yeah. But anyway, Flint's mom died, and that might...
Barney keeps a hologram of all 3 of them.
Yeah, of course, like you do.
My ex-best friend and his dead mom.
And then his mother was killed in that attack, and he changed. He wanted power, any kind of power, right away. He joined up with that Dark Lord, that Darth Vader.
Yeah. And Luke's like, this is what I was talking about.
And I never heard from him again. Poor Flint. I wonder what became of him. How many pages are left in this issue? Okay, we're going to find out.
Spoiler. No, yeah. We got time. And so, and Luke's moping some more.
And so when 2 mopers are moping alike, they attract one another. So
I mean, here's where I was really feeling it, because when you get this close-up of Denon, I mean, that's Luke Skywalker's face with black hair.
Yeah.
It's not even...
And, like, what if Luke Skywalker became the Crow?
That was one of the infinities that got rejected.
Because Denon's in the woods here, and like I have growing to appreciate the frailty of nature now that I've lost it. As a butterfly lands on his finger.
Yeah, it is just like, good God, man. I get that it's bad, but damn.
Yeah.
This is depressing. Boy,
and thankfully, Leia's going to storm in and ruin the mood.
Yeah. How wonderful can life be? And so, yeah.
He is so heartless here. Well, isn't it nice to know that no matter how desperate things are in your homeworld have become, you can still take time to stop and smell the flowers?
And I will say, further adding to the Speed Racer thing, Denon really does move and pose like an anime character. The idea of like, you, Princess Leia, how dare you talk to me? Like, there's so much pointing and dramatic.
Did you even try to get me a squadron? Or did you underplay the urgency of my world's need? For spite?
Yeah, it's like how many lines can we jam in here? My God, it's just he's just too much. This guy's too much. He's driving me up the wall.
Well, he's even too much for himself because he's going to storm off again here. Even though Leia says, "Hey, we came to a compromise. We're all going to take the Millennium Falcon and go back to your homeworld, but we're not going to get an army to come with us."
Yeah, and hey, man, if you actually listen to what I was about to say, like. Yeah. We're actually agreeing with you and going to help you here.
Right.
Oh.
So Denon storms off in a huff. Meanwhile, Han, never one to lose sight of what's truly important, says, "Hey, if we still got the night and we're only leaving in the morning, how about you and I go smell the flowers together, Leia?"
Huh? Am I right?
Smooth. Very smooth.
Oh, Han. And then Luke mopes some more as his hair billows in the breeze.
Cut to the dream.
Yeah, back into the dream, except this time it's not Vader that's there. It's our old friend Yoda.
And this is what really solidified it, is like, okay, we're doing Force Vision stuff because Yoda's here to impart wisdom.
Yeah. Deceive you, looks can. Alone you are not.
Forgotten me so soon, have you?
Because he does say, "Who's there?" If somebody says, "Deceive you, looks can," I'm like, "Oh, it's Yoda." He's like, "What? Who's talking backwards in here?"
Luke, have you met any other Muppets that talk like this?
Surprisingly, yes. Master Yoda, teacher, remember how you taught me?
Yeah, such a good Master Yoda was.
Yeah. Happy to see me, are you? Teaching do you need again?
So this is when Luke starts like kind of lucid dreaming a little bit and begins questioning about whether or not this is even a dream. And this is some of the earliest like actual Force vision stuff.
I think this is some of the best stuff in the comic. It's just what it ends up leading to kind of disappointed me. But
sure,
they are getting into some of the more spiritual Force stuff that will become a bigger part of Star Wars going forward.
For sure. Because we have Luke being like, "Well, is this a dream?" and Yoda saying, "But no, you brought me here, so because clearly you need help."
Yeah, and also I do like him saying like, whether it's a dream or not, if it's real to you, does that even matter? You know, like
yeah,
smart stuff. And then we got to get some more wisdom in here because now Obi-Wan's showing up.
It's what Yoda's trying to tell you, Luke. It's that it doesn't matter whether this place is real, and it, and we, within it, physically exist somewhere, or if it is just a product of your own mind.
I mean, he has seen their ghosts before. He shouldn't be as shocked, maybe.
I don't think Luke's very shocked. He's not like, he's shocked when people turn, because it's a comic book, and he has to say people's names out loud so the readers know who they're talking to.
Why, Master Yoda, my old teacher...
Ben Kenobi, also known as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
The great Jedi Knight? And then a gloved hand touches his shoulder and he turns around and it's Darth Vader. But then what's this? It's also Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker, my father. But you
who's
cannot
still
be
drawn
here.
Like Anakin was, of course, at the end of the original version of Return of the Jedi before he got replaced by Hayden Christensen.
Was Hayden Christensen born by the time this comic came out?
Oh, Yes, I think he was, but he was like, he's 3 years old when this comic comes out.
Okay. So, not a little bit more than a twinkle in his father's eye, but still like.
Christensen was born in 1981. Yes.
Okay.
Because I was going to say, I know he's a bit older than us, but so he must have probably. But yes, he is a toddler at this point. But I will say, Jake Lloyd had yet to be born.
Ooh, yeesh.
He is the same age as us. In fact, he's just a couple weeks after you, March, in early March.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But Luke confronting Vader here with the help of his father Anakin, now kind of unraveling the mysteries of this vision. Luke is saying, wait, hold on. I saw him as Darth Vader because Vader was the only image for what he is that my mind could recognize, and that is some sort of Dark Lord.
And so what we come to see is the Vader armor starts shimmering because we're doing little, stars of light on it as it transforms into this crazy armor design.
It looks like a character from Dark Souls.
Very much so. It does not look like a Star Wars character.
No.
It's pretty. It's a little over designed, I would say.
It's someone King Arthur would fight in Excalibur.
And Vader's just like, whoopsie doodle. I forgot to tell you, I did train an apprentice, and you're gonna maybe have to clean up my mess on that. Sorry.
He is not beyond redemption, my son, but I am unable to return and undo the evil I did. Only you can save him, Luke.
And Luke's like, okay, I'm gonna need some more information on this guy.
But too late, because he's got to get woken up by Lando.
Yeah, sorry to wake you up there, Luke. I know you're probably having some sort of prophetic vision or something, but we're about to land the Falcon.
Yeah. Luke's got a new look here. He's got a white vest, white pants, with black boots and a black undershirt. I love this look.
This is fine, but I'm so fascinated by this, like, ebbing and flowing with how much white versus how much black is in his outfit, and they just keep going back and a little of this, a little of that.
It's a metaphor. Whoa.
Yeah. He goes, and then I like, that's okay, Lando. I managed to do what I had to do. Huh?
Lando, speaking for the reader.
Huh? What?
Huh?
Because he goes, boy, you were really sleeping pretty soundly. And then if somebody goes, it's okay, I did what I had to do. What?
I don't want to know.
Yeah. You crazy with your Jedi shit? I don't know.
But they're coming up on Naldar, and Leia's like, hey, we got to the capital city. You said it was the most fortified place in the world. What are we seeing here? And we turn the page, and the capital city is destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Boy, this artist also likes when you go in for that, like the super sketchy, almost like colored pencil look to do like these. We didn't mention it before, but they've done it a couple times here. But the like, has there really been so much destruction in such a short time? And you cut to Denon suddenly all sketchy and pencil looking and going, yes.
So, fun fact about Jan Duursema.
Who I know nothing about.
You know nothing about. Okay. She's well known within like Star Wars circles for specifically creating a couple of characters you might actually be familiar with. Namely, she named the characters and created like the visual style for the characters of Ayla Secura and Quinlan Vos.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But she has like done, we'll see way more of her come the Dark Horse era of Star Wars. I'll say that much.
She's also married to Tom Mandrake.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. I see that here on her Wikipedia.
Oh, she did the AD&D comic for DC back in the day. Oh, that's awesome. I got to go reread that.
I mean, so yeah, she's somebody who's been around for sure. And we'll definitely talk about her more so when we get into the Dark Horse stuff.
But I like that her Wikipedia page credits, the first credit she gets is for Denon and Via of Naldar. You know, those characters that everyone knows. And also Ayla Secura and Quinlan Vos. You know, characters everyone knows. Or at least everyone who's read Star Wars comics.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, she's definitely a name within Star Wars specifically.
Like I said, we'll see more of her in the future. But what we're seeing now is a dogfight because it's TIE fighters.
A lot of that.
A lot of pew. They shoot down a couple of them, but then there's some kind of big energy weapon that shoots them out of the sky, and they crash. Good crash. Like that image. It's like a tear through the sky. It looks cool.
Yeah. And then, boy, we're yelling at each other again. Also, did the Falcon hallway outside the cockpit get gigantic in this?
Yeah.
Because the Falcon's pretty tight quarters.
Look, people drawing the Falcon's interior is, let us say, inconsistent at best.
Yeah. Hey, but
much
now
like Luke Skywalker's face.
Now you can actually go to Disneyland and just go in it and be like, oh, that's how it is, you know.
John, when this comic book came out, you could buy a toy from Sears that would let you know the layout of the Falcon.
Actually, yeah, I was going to say, I think I had a toy as a kid that was pretty clear about where the cockpit was in relation. You the top of it open, you can do, so it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're just like, we need this big wide shot of every character.
Because unfortunately, the Halpaton circuits are beyond repair.
Sure. The Gleep Glop, they got to tech the tech.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, why not? It's all rhythm.
So they have to split the party. Denon is being a little shit. Han's yelling at him a little bit.
Well, because he's saying, like, I could have flown past it and it wouldn't have hit. I would have, dodged that energy blast. And it's just like, remember, pal, the only reason you didn't get blown up was because Luke told me not to shoot you down. So this is all very helpful, is what I'm saying.
And Chewie says, Gronk!
Bro, come on, everybody.
And somebody from off panel says, hey, Chewie. Okay, that's going too far.
Yeah. Can't use that kind of language around here. Jesus. And of course, R2 and 3PO are here.
Yeah, of course. So Han and Chewie and Barney stay back with the Falcon. We have Leia and Lando and the droids going off to look for these parts, and Luke and Denon are going off to search for survivors.
And Denon, what happens to Denon here?
Trips? I don't know. I didn't quite understand.
The way it's drawn, it looks like an invisible force is knocking him back, but that's not what's happening. But because Luke says, hey, be careful, man.
Yeah, Luke catches Denon as he slips on the ramp to get off the Falcon. And this is all just so Leia can have the line, Luke, he was walking around on his own for years before he had you to look after him.
He did fall. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
this is just building up Luke's mistrust for Denon because it's going to be completely justified as we cut to Leia and the droids poking around in the ruins of
if the party in Star Wars is ever split up, I do not want to be on whatever group has 3PO in it. Because he's just going, oh my, look at this. Oh dear. Oh no.
Yeah, again, the constant question, why are we bringing 3PO?
Yeah, I mean, talk about the one guy you definitely leave on the ship.
Unless we are going onto an alien world that needs possible translation or a place where etiquette is important, 3PO stays on the Falcon.
Yeah. Here they're like, let's go look for survivors and rubble and stuff. Take 3PO. What?
Like, R2 makes all the sense in the world because he can hack into computers and get
which
doors open.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, R2 has a lot of uses because he poets, and R2 says he's indeed located the Halpaton circuitry we need. He also found records concerning the recent history of the rulers here, Master Denon's family.
And whatever Leia reads is upsetting because she says we have to get back to the Falcon and warn Han and Luke.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We'll get into it when we get there, but I'll just say, what was the point of this twist?
Because twins, Basil, twins.
No, yes, I understand. Yes, yeah. Anyway, so they're just walking around. Meanwhile, Den and Luke and Lando are walking around, looking at all the bodies in the streets.
Yeah, who have just been left out there. There's some Flash Gordon extras who are just dead out here in the streets.
Yeah, including this guy that he lands up on, Foss, who's at death's door but hasn't quite died yet.
Just enough time to say, I survived this long, but there's no one here left to save, but I'm happy you survived, my princess.
Yeah, and you were like, and I was like, princess, you say? What?
And there's an asterisk after this, which in my first reading, I took to mean like maybe this was an editorial mistake. But now I don't know, knowing the end of this book.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a clue, but weird. Anyway, Luke senses trouble, and I mean the drawing of him flying through the air. It
sort of implies that he does a flip while he's diving at Denon and Lando here.
It seems like he could have just turned and dove straight at them, but instead he chose to do a spin in the air just for his own amusement.
Yeah, the loop-de-loop accelerates him slightly. He got a little bit of a slingshot effect here.
And they even talk about Denon's like, how could you have known that was going to happen? They hadn't actually even fired the weapons by the, it's like the Force.
Of course.
Force is why that happened.
So Denon says, you should have trained me, Luke. I would have been able to help you more now. In what time?
Yeah. You could have given me like 2 to 3 hours of Jedi training and I would have kicked ass.
Here, drink this Jedi protein shake and you'll have all these Force powers.
I mean, it really is like actively disrespectful to the Jedi, right? That it's just these people are like...
And again, we're at a time where it's like what the Jedi Order was really is kind of still up in the air.
Oh, big time. I mean, we've talked about that quite a bit, that it is like, and what the Clone Wars were. I mean, because the way this book acts, we know now from the prequels, the Jedi were around up to 25-ish years ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
Admittedly, they were a little bit like the CIA in terms of like, if they showed up, you were like, oh shit, they're here? Okay.
But people knew they existed.
Yeah.
This book is still acting, I think, almost kind of like the original trilogy does, where it's like, it was long, long ago. And so you're like, oh, it must have been quite a while ago then. It's like, no, it was pretty recent.
Within living memory of a lot of people.
Absolutely. So I mean, it's always a tricky thing about, we really haven't settled on the timeline. Lucas is still very vague about like, yeah, it was before this.
But hey, if our living memory can also be any indication, fascist propaganda can do a hell of a lot of work.
I mean, that's a big thing in here, and also just, I don't fault the comic for this because they just don't know.
Right. But anyway, Luke's like, okay, we're going to take these guys out, because then they get up and go, and Luke's got a blue lightsaber for reasons.
Luke also, before they get up and go, appears to be holding his lightsaber upside down.
That's fine, because apparently the backside is blue.
Yeah, guys, I mean, there's just no excuse.
The excuse is they don't wanna.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just like, we colored it blue. Well, we're shipping it tomorrow, so who cares? Anyway, so Denon shoots somebody, and it's like, oh my god, I killed that guy.
Yeah, there's a weird moment here where Denon's like, I've never killed anyone before.
Lando's like, well, yeah, it was awesome. What are you upset about? You totally murdered a guy, and it ruled.
Good job. That guy sucked.
Yeah. So anyway, R2 and 3PO and Leia get back to the Falcon, and they've got the circuitry, but also Leia has to tell Han something very important.
Because we found history of the royal family here, and it turns out that Prince Denon died 2 years ago.
Well, then who have we been driving around with?
Bum, bum, bum. It's a sister. We'll find out.
Yeah, it ends up being a sister.
Because twins, Basil.
Other than to make it twins, there's really no reason for this.
And why is it twins? Is that important somehow to Luke and Leia's story? No.
Yeah, beyond just like, Oh, I see the parallel there.
They're echoing certain tropes or like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
But anyway, remember that Dark Souls character from before? He's here now.
Here comes because the stormtroopers have Luke, Lando, and Denon surrounded, and here comes their leader out of just mystical fog. I don't know.
John, I'm guessing you've never read the comic Berserk, but this is a character from Berserk.
I'm aware of it, but yeah, and just the way though that he's stepping out of like just atmosphere for its own sake.
He's coming out of the gravitas cloud behind him.
Who is he, Luke? Do you know him? Yes, and he knows me. Does he?
Yeah, Luke was there.
Oh,
in Star Wars Annual number 3? Absolutely. Because this is Flint, by the way.
That's right, yeah. This is Flint, who last we saw had joined the Empire, but in the interim became Darth Vader's apprentice?
Yeah, because this guy's going to bust out a lightsaber and lunge at Luke, and he's full on a Dark Lord of the Sith. He's got force powers and everything.
And he even says, like, you killed him. You killed my master. Like, you're like, whoa. I mean, this is... Reading this now, you're like, boy, okay, this is the biggest swing at, like, a canon character they introduce, I think, in this comic in a while.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a long, proud tradition in Star Wars of Vader having secret apprentices.
You want to talk about Starkiller?
We can talk about Starkiller. We can talk about Ahsoka, even.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We can talk about Afra, kind of. We can talk about like Vader having like guys do stuff for him behind the Emperor's back, and maybe like teaching them a little bit in the ways of the Force. Is a thing that clearly starts like here, basically, and keeps going through all of Star Wars.
It is interesting, yeah, that's the case. But I mean, this is the wackiest one with his armor and shit.
Yeah, well, look, you lose.
Silly, but
I mean, Starkiller had the iconic. What if he had 2 lightsabers? Raw.
Because those games were metal, right?
He's gonna pull a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
Do you remember that brief period? I remember getting in arguments with people that go, "No, those games are totally canon, man. George said it. He said they're canon." It's like,
yeah, right up until you had those alternate endings where he like kills Darth Vader and becomes the Emperor's new Sith Lord.
Yeah, and you're just like, yeah, but also, my argument was always just like. Those just I'm sorry I'll never watch the movies going, and this is where Starkiller comes in, you know.
Well, because everyone wants like Ram Kota to be the like canon guy who's helped start the Rebel Alliance, right? Because that's sort of like in the background plot of that first game is he also helps kickstart the rebellion.
Yeah, and like a lot of things, and this is the problem, right, with the whole I was talking to you about seeing somebody going like, the only way to fix Star Wars is to make the expanded universe canon again. You're just like, no, you can't. There are ideas in there, and this is what they're doing, and I think that's good. There are ideas in there, and take those ideas, and like, this will work, this will fit with what we're doing. The way they brought Thrawn in totally works.
There was stuff that became non-canon before Disney bought the Star Wars license.
Yeah, let's not pretend that all of this was
came out.
Like, yeah, let's not pretend that all of those books were like meticulously, perfectly, in sync with one another either. So I just think it's an interesting thing. Because I mean, then it's like, what about this comic? Is this fucking canon?
No, because even back then there were like tiers of canonicity.
Yeah,
there always were.
That's the thing that gets me about it is you're like when you say make the EU canon, what? We'd still have to have a discussion about what's in that. What tiers?
Dash Rendar specifically.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, where do you draw the line? Because some of it's going to contradict itself. Anyway, sorry, that's end of my rant about. You can enjoy the books. I still love a lot of those books, and I had a great time. And I don't go like, well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah, and this comic is even brushing up against like stuff that made the New Jedi Order books good, right? Is like Luke's uncertainty about his ability to train people.
Well, that's the thing that I think is interesting is they're on to things in this that will inevitably, and it's similar to what they're doing now with like, yes, there are ideas that are like, oh, that just makes sense. There are certain things that will line up because logically that feels like a natural extension of Luke. It's the way people talk about Luke actually wasn't super different in George Lucas's treatments for a sequel trilogy than he was in what Abrams and Johnson wrote.
Maybe because we'll never know, right?
I mean, what we've heard of it, but like the idea that at some point he had sort of walked away and become a recluse was kind of like a natural extension of the character. And same thing here, where you're like, oh yeah, the idea that this guy wouldn't immediately just shift into like wise teacher.
But anyway, we're here to deal with knockoff versions of everybody. So Flint is going to be like, you heard them. Get after those guys that are running away. I'm going to stay here and fight Skywalker.
Yeah, because I got beef.
Revenge.
Yeah.
So Lando and Denon run back to the Falcon. They lost him. They lost the stormtroopers briefly, but this is where they get confronted by Leia being like, "You're not Denon," and Denon being like, "You're right. I'm Denon's sister, Velis."
And then I will say, yeah, it doesn't matter. But I will say, this is one of the stupidest things this comic does. Suddenly, the face changes.
Yeah, it's drawn way more feminine all of a sudden.
There were close-ups of Denon that were so square-jawed and like traditionally masculine, and then all of a sudden everything just kind of softens up, and you're like, "Wait, what? Wait a minute, what happened? How did that happen?"
It just held their jaw differently, and suddenly it's very clear that they've been.
I can finally relax and become the woman that it's okay.
Maybe they're a species of shapeshifters here on Naldar.
Well, I would have loved a line about that if you wanted to do that, but they can alter their faces or something. Because there's even this moment here when it's like, and I mean, once again, so interesting and like where it's just like, oh no, it wasn't a masquerade. As far as I'm concerned, I am Denon.
When he died, I became him so that I could keep his dream alive.
But this is also where you see the big drawing of Denon around her that indicates it's a different face that we saw earlier, and then is now her face.
Yeah.
It's just like, I love that this is just tossed in. On top of everything else that's happening, it's just like, also, I'm doing a whole thing where I've become my dead brother as some sort of dying tribute, and I live as him. And you're like, what? And then it's like, it doesn't matter. And even Lando's like, it doesn't matter.
We have to get out of here and save Luke.
We do not have time to dig into the emotional issues of this. Back to lightsaber fight.
Because, back to Luke and Flint, and they're having this brutal heart-to-heart as Flint is just like, that's right, Darth Vader told me about you. Do you think he wouldn't tell me about you? The fight he was building towards? And now I'm going to kill you, you bastard.
Well, also, he drops in here, he goes, all I ever wanted my whole life was become a Jedi Knight. And you, I went to you. I wanted training. You didn't just spurn me. I was beneath your notice. I mean, I kind of like the idea, not necessarily that he became Darth Vader's apprentice then, but the idea of the guy who's like a toxic fan of like, I loved you, man, and you wouldn't listen to me, so now I'm going to kill you. It's kind of a good idea for a villain. It's just, then it's also, there's way too much other stuff going on with this guy.
Well, and it's interesting because this will also mirror Anakin's eventual fall from grace, right? Because his whole thing in Revenge of the Sith is like, the Jedi Masters don't respect me. They don't think I'm on their level. And so Palpatine's in his ear whispering, saying like, yeah, they're never going to respect you. You need to turn to the dark side.
One of the greatest deliveries in the history of film is not from a Jedi.
Yeah.
Say what you will about any of the stuff. McDiarmid, no notes. Ever.
Notes.
Even as dumb as the stuff, even the stuff in Rise of Skywalker, he's in. He's committing. It's not the performance's fault.
The weird voice filters they throw on him when he gets his face melted in that one scene when he's like all froggy and like unlimited power.
You don't need it because that guy is such a good actor, is what I would say about that. Like, that's the thing. And his voice, because I mean, I've seen him in other movies where he doesn't talk like this, you know?
Right.
Although we saw him in a Hammer movie once over on Meet the Monsters. We were like, oh no, don't trust that guy. He's the fucking emperor. He's going to lead you down a dark path. It's weird. Always weird to see him play a guy.
So Luke and Flint are clashing, and Luke's being like, I know I wronged you. I know I shouldn't have ignored you. But even if I had acknowledged it, my answer would have been the same. I can't teach you because I'm not good enough. The Force in the wrong hands is a terrible weapon. Look at how you're wielding it now.
Yeah. This is pretty shitty, man. I don't like what you're doing. In fact, no one does. It's objectively quite bad. So
we get a bit of a duel here. Luke and him going back and forth. They're pretty evenly matched.
Which is interesting. I mean, I will say, if you have to line up the timeline here, Vader did train this guy pretty fast.
But the dark side is always for that quick and easy dose of power.
Become a Jedi in just 30 days.
Yeah, but you could become a Sith in just 6.
Yeah. But if you call now, you can become a Sith in less than a week. 1 weekend a month, you know, like.
Yeah. So anyway, Luke's still trying to get to him. He's still trying to turn him, saying like, look at what you're doing with this power. You're just abusing this gift you have.
Mm-hmm. And then meanwhile, my favorite guy is Stormtrooper's like, hey, Luke Skywalker's distracted. I could just take him out.
What if I just shot him?
I just like the idea, the way he's just walking with his rifle, like, do. Hey, is that lightsabers clashing? Hey, that's Luke Skywalker.
Why do they need to give this Stormtrooper thought bubbles?
And a lot of them.
Because, like, I would assume that any Stormtrooper's train of thought includes the, like, sentence, I should shoot Luke Skywalker.
I have a feeling that Palpatine, like, threw that into whatever their fucking, you know, memory or brainwashing shit that they do that's implied in some of the stuff.
That's only in the sequels.
I guess that is in the sequels, isn't it? It makes sense.
And technically, also, there's the prequel stuff with the inhibitor chips for the clones.
Yeah. But. Also, if anyone sees this guy, just shoot him right away.
But anyway, he misses, and or he wings Luke.
Stormtrooper. He's a actually, it's better than most Stormtroopers because at least he grazes Luke
before he's immediately shot.
By who?
That's just some random guy.
I gotta say, a lot of the art in this book pulls out super wide to the point where I don't know who is talking or doing what. I know it's not Leia, but I don't. It's either Han or Lando. But
it's which Han, one Lando, or Barney.
It does not matter.
Or Denon.
Yeah. Because that's right. Because it is Denon. She became Denon when he died.
Right. I mean, they refer to her for the rest of the issue as Denon.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you know, fair enough. But a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're gonna have a good villain monologue here as we're getting the entire world's power sources are all united, powering one enormous energy cannon. My troops await my signal to turn it to this sector of the city, and they'll get that signal once we're safely out of range. I'm only sorry you won't all be around to see what happens then as we move to all the other Alliance worlds in this sector. So they turned the planet into a big boomstick that they're going to shoot at things. Sounds familiar.
It does. This is kind of the be-all, end-all of Imperial thought.
Make big gun.
Because part of me, I will say, because people talk about how lazy that is, that the Star Wars movies keep going to that. Maybe, but I do sort of like the idea that they're just very limited in vision.
Also, I love that it has been a repeating thing in like all of Star Wars to the point where it's like, okay, it doesn't matter how far back in time you go or how far forward in time you go. The Sith like modus operandi is, what if make big gun?
Yeah. I think I see our problem. The gun wasn't big enough.
There we go.
Right there. I mean, that's why I don't have an issue with Star Killer Base. It's like, we only blew up one planet. We need a thing that can blow up several planets at once. That was the mistake.
What if the planet blew up a planet? Whoa.
Yeah. Wait a minute. What if the gun was a planet?
Damn.
Holy shit. Now we've done it. It's the thing I joke about in the Hammer Frankenstein movies, where every single one of those sequels, Cushing's Dr. Frankenstein is like, no. I figured out what I did wrong. Now I've got it.
I'll defy God, just like I'm
when
supposed
Frankenstein
to.
created woman, he's like, the mistake was I made 3 dudes. What if I make a woman? There'll be no problems then, Spoiler alert, there were still a lot of problems.
Yeah. So Chewie and Lando are going to help Luke get back up. Meanwhile, Barney is going to go confront his old friend Flint.
Yeah, this is another thing too. It's 2 characters who have appeared in one other issue, and the climax of this will just be Barney being like, "You've changed, man.
Look at yourself. Look at what you're doing, man.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
You tried to be a hero to save your mom, and this is what you became?
Come on, man."
So fine, if you're going to kill everybody, do it, and start with me.
And then he's like, I can't. And I just like that's what I thought.
Meanwhile, there's a stormtrooper on the ground who's like, traitor!
It's like picking up his rifle going, I will kill everyone now. And then he immediately is like, this is what I love about clearly this gives us an insight into the command structure of Imperial soldiers, that he's just like, attention everyone, Lord Flint is a traitor now, so if you see him, kill him. And everyone's just like, got it.
Also fire that big gun we have.
Yeah. And so he goes to shoot the stormtrooper goes to shoot Flint, and Denon grabs Luke's lightsaber.
I don't understand what Denon is doing here.
I don't either. Runs at this stormtrooper who just shoots him in the gut.
Right. While the lightsaber does nothing?
Yeah, and also it's sort of like, I'm not sure, Denon, I'm not sure that this sacrifice is worth it for Flint.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here is that Flint doesn't need to die here, and that Denon has seen enough death and has caused some death now. So as she's lunging forward, says, "No, there's been enough."
But is then jamming a deadly weapon at someone to presumably kill them.
Yes, well, I need to do some death to stop all the
This is what I'm talking about, where it's like, I kind of follow what they're trying to do here, but the execution is very strange.
And I guess this guy gets sliced because the stormtrooper is super dead in the next page.
Even though they clearly show the blade missing his midsection.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Very weird.
Or maybe passing through his midsection? No, it's clearly missing.
It's right in front of it. It does. I don't know how it can be read. He's also the skinniest storm. Look at that waist. He's got a 15-inch waist. My God. But anyway. Denon, and I like Luke yells Denon, Leia yells Avila.
Because Luke doesn't know that this person isn't... Luke's been busy having a lightsaber fight.
Yeah. And so Luke says, oh, Denon, and Leia's like, no, Avila.
Yeah.
And then
never knew Denon.
Like, yeah. It's been his twin sister. And then you almost want... I'm shocked that Luke doesn't go, twins? Like us?
He does say, I see.
Yeah. I know of another set of twins. You and I, Leia.
But Vila / Denon says, he would have been proud of me, wouldn't he, Luke? I moved before the trooper could fire his blaster, just like the Jedi would have, like my brother would have. Bleh.
And I kind of want Luke to be like, I guess. Like, I mean, it's a bummer because they're trying to establish his characters like noble, and then I'm like, and then their death is basically pointless.
Yeah, and as she's dying, she says, because Luke says you would have made a fine Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
And but she dies saying, "I know that now. I don't want it for Denon. I want to be a Jedi Knight more than anything." Because it was like Denon's dream to be like
Right.
Jedi.
Right. Yeah. And so then we cut to Flint, and they're going like, "Sir,
we're not going to take the word of some random guy on the radio. What are your orders?"
yeah. And so Flint activates the auto destruct of the big gun.
Yeah. Because he has a big red button on his wrist bracer that lets him blow it up.
Yeah.
Convenient.
And then we're all just sobbing over the death of this woman pretending to be her brother.
Well, Leia, I can understand because she was an asshole to this poor girl. Not obviously understanding her situation, but
he says that like, yeah. Now that I think about it, I was pretty rough on her. Once again, it just doesn't land the way they want it to for me.
Yeah, because especially when Luke says like, "I can't explain, but I know that this is all right. You shouldn't be sad."
Well, then it goes into like, then they're in the Force?
Because we cut to Vila, what? But she's dead, and they're in the weird, twisty Speed Force winds that Luke has been in his dreams, and then she's reunited with Denon, who's also here, dressed exactly the same, saying that I've been waiting for you, and now that you're here, our teacher can begin our training. Whoa.
They're gonna be like ghost Jedi?
Yeah, for sure. That's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They become one with the cosmic force, and they can proceed to learn and expand their knowledge of the
Where
universe.
is that a thing?
Okay. So,
where is this a thing? I'm not sure I've ever seen this.
How deep you want me to go, John?
As always, let's keep it, let's keep the broad strokes for listeners' time.
In quite a few novels and comics, it is established that the consciousness as we understand it basically ceases to exist after death. But Jedi, through their training, can become one with what's called the cosmic force. Okay?
Well, I'm aware of that, of course, yeah.
Sure. But that ultimately means with enough training that people like Yoda, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon can maintain a sort of like personality within the Force.
Yes, I'm also aware of this. What I'm trying to figure out is where two people with no Jedi training enter the Force and get trained after death to become ghost Jedi.
Yeah. I understand your confusion.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Because I understand there are plenty of Jedi ghosts throughout Star Wars, and I understand that. Mm-hmm. But I always took that as to be like, yes, it is the most experienced, the most powerful of Jedi. That's why it's Yoda, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Anakin.
Why is it Anakin?
Well, now that's an interesting question, right?
And that it almost really, it boils down to don't worry about it.
Yeah, it almost just seems like because we like that guy.
Because it's the will of the Force.
Yeah. And so I guess, but let me just say, is this going anywhere? Because this is nuts. They're going to start their training in the afterlife.
Yeah, to become Ghost Jedi.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild, man.
No, it doesn't go anywhere. Don't worry about it.
Do we ever revisit any of these characters? Is this the last we see of Barney and Flint?
This is the last we see of Barney and Flint.
Oh my God. They're so important. They make them so important. And then they're like, nah, that's it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the only and last appearance of Vila and Denon.
Yeah, I see that. That's so stupid. Not that I love the characters, but it's just like if you're going to spend all this time developing them, then they should be important. Oh, the frustration.
this is like classic Bronze Age comic stuff, John. Like,
it really
how
is. No, I'm aware.
How many issues of Doctor Strange from the 1980s have you read that have introduced like seemingly important nexuses of mystical energy that have never been mentioned ever again?
Well, I mean, it's true about everything from this era, because a lot of TV shows frustrate me with like this, where you're like, wait, shouldn't this guy be in the next episode? Never mentioned again. You know, you're like, wait, but that was like setting it, or like, you know, Magnum's dating a girl at the end of an episode. The next episode is just gone. It's like, well, what happened to that girl you were dating?
Moving on.
There's a new hottie in this episode.
Because next we've got Cat's Paw.
Oh, which I will say is the name of one of the worst Star Trek episodes. So I'm not. I'm not super excited. Do you remember that TOS episode by any chance, about the witch who can turn into a cat? It's a real stinkeroony. It's Kirk and Spock in a haunted castle with a witch, and you're just like, boy, this is not what I'm looking for out of Star Trek.
Let me guess, season 3?
I think it's 2, but it's season. It feels very season 3. That
definitely feels like the rivets are coming off the welding there.
Yeah, season 2. Season 2, episode 7, Cat's Paw.
Admittedly,
that's a plug for a new show we're doing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, I've seen very little of the original Star Trek.
Well, if you want to watch along with Brendan Jones and I, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, because Campbell and Jones are boldly going.
Are you going through all of Star Trek?
I mean, until Brendan dies, as he says.
I'm just saying, like, won't getting to anything past the original series kill him physically?
It's going to be interesting. It's the 60th anniversary, and so Campbell and Jones are going to boldly go on our YouTube channel here.
Well, Godspeed. He and I always at opposite poles, with you always torn twixt the two of us. I, a Star Wars man, he, a Trekker. I understand.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see if you're a Trekkie, though. It was basically just me going like, I must have a Star Trek show on the network. And I thought it's the 60th anniversary this year of Trek as well. And actually next year will be the 50th anniversary of Star Wars.
I'm aware, because there are all these rumors rumbling about re-releases of original theatrical cuts. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
Any of those I always am skeptical of, because we've heard so many like that's finally happening. Anyway, if you want more from us, though, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup. That's punch up ENT. Get cool exclusive bonus content, as well as help out all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. Where else can people check us out? I just mentioned it there, but give them a URL.
I was going to say, if you want to boldly go, you can do it over on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. While you're there, you can watch this show along with us, to read the comics, see the cool Sienkiewicz cover we were talking about an hour and a half ago. And
that was the highlight of the issue.
Is Campbell and Jones Boldly Going, is that going to be a YouTube exclusive?
It sure is, yes.
Okay.
It will fill in the off weeks of Action Shelf and Horror Shelf, which are both monthly shows, and then in between those, you'll get the Star Trek show.
Well, there you go. And while you're there, due to podcast time travel, a little uncertain about the release schedule there, but we're probably also starting our Marvel show at this point. In which case,
because we do, probably just starting,
Yeah, because look, Doomsday's a coming, and we gotta start revving those engines now if we want to start covering everything in the MCU before Doomsday comes out.
It's forced us to do some math.
Damn you, Marvel!
Yeah. So check that out. Lots of content.
Absolutely,
we appreciate
can't wait.
All the people who join us for these journeys.
Yeah, if you're a patron subscriber, you can go back into our archives on the Panel on Panels days and like really go back to our original reviews of the MCU as it was coming out. But we're going to do a bit of a refresher, a little bit of a look back through the MCU in preparation for Doomsday.
A lot we didn't cover, so yeah.
True.
So, yep. But yeah. check that out. Lots of cool content, but I think that's going to do it this week, Gergoni.
That will indeed do it, because as always, I have been Mike Gergoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.